one of the main reason is that there's a lot of energy transition happening world over, and we're also now going to showcase our future technology, which is going to operate on the future fuel like hydrogen, ammonia, methanol, HVO oil. That's one of the reasons we want to showcase to the entire Southeast Asia that what we have for them in store. By end of this year, we'll be coming up with an engine which can burn the hydrogen, 100% hydrogen. And from next maybe couple of years down the line, we'll have a technology which can also burn the ammonia, maybe for the marine sector, not for the land sector. But when it comes to the land-based business, we do have the hydrogen engine. Right now, there are few customers, not in Asia right now, but in Europe, they are using hydrogen in blend with the natural gas. So that's one of the main reasons. If you see all around, there are a lot of people who are promoting the future fuel like hydrogen, and we're one of them.
So absolutely a very good question, because the availability of hydrogen and second the cost of the hydrogen are going to be the key drivers when this hydrogen engine comes online. But we must remember that most countries, especially in Europe, are moving towards green energy, and the cost of running of carbon which is going to be emitted in the atmosphere, that's going to be the key driver here, so that the hydrogen is coming in. Also, more and more countries are investing into hydrogen from renewable, green hydrogen, from wind. So since all these things are coming in, and once the economics work out, which we think would happen in near future, 4 to 5 years it will take. But most manufacturers are getting into stream to be prepared and be ready in various stages as a mix or pure hydrogen to go forward. So that's where we are going.
So I think if you talk about the India market now, there are a lot of announcements made by the government of India where they are trying to promote the hydrogen as a fuel, not for the power generation only, but for other applications also. And when it comes to company like Reliance or Adani, they make a big announcement that by next 3-4 years, their aim is to bring down the cost of hydrogen to $1 or $2, and that's going to be a game changer. And when we talk about hydrogen, we're not going to use it for a base load. It will be kind of a time gap arrangement, where there will be a peaking power requirement in the morning and the evening, where we're seeing there's a lot of potential for the hydrogen engine business also. And I'm sure that India taking a leading step in that, we're aiming to bring the cost of hydrogen to maybe $2 per kg, and that's going to be a game changer, as I said. And that's what I see. Well, I think we're on the path of where a lot of innovation is happening, both on the electrolyzer side, where we need to make it more efficient, and at the same time, we also need to work on the cost of renewable energy. So we have seen a good amount of price drop in India, which used to be maybe 5 rupees a kilowatt hour energy. Today, we're talking about 2 rupees per kilowatt hour of energy. So maybe down the line, if cost of renewable will come to maybe 1.5 rupee and the electrolyzer cost will also come down, you will see a lot of economics in that also.
So it's not a conflict, it's a complementary thing. Hydrogen would complement renewable. For example, solar energy is not available for round the clock or round the year. So during that time, one solution could be that what green hydrogen is produced by the electrolyzer using the solar energy could be used for the peaking time or the time when solar energy or wind energy is not available. So this is going to complement it. It's not a competition as such. Yeah.
I think if you see the India, the share of the coal is coming down. I don't see there's much of protest coming from any, people who are in the coal business. They understand if we have to move forward, we also need to have a technology which will have a reduction in the CO2. And everyone is aiming for that. And we're talking about 2040, 2050, where we're saying we're not going to take the coal out. We're saying, okay, we'll bring it down in a phase-wise manner, 2030, 2040, and 2050. And they will also move to the newer technology. So we don't know what's going to happen on the coal side. But for sure, if we have to take care of the environment, we need to have this kind of technology also. And as rightly said by Ashish, that going forward, we're going to complement the renewable, because renewable is not going to be throughout the year or throughout the day. So we're also talking about metal hydride, which is where you can store the hydrogen and use it when it is required. When the wind or solar power is not there, you can use hydrogen as a storage, metal hydride, and then use it for the power generation. That's the other way of using it. I will say, whenever there's any transformation happening or the transition is happening, it will take some time for the governments, not in India, but other part of the world, where they will come up with the policies that will support the hydrogen. The government of India has taken that initiative where they have made some announcement that at least $2 billion, $5 billion will be given to the people for promoting the hydrogen gas. And some of the industries are taking advantage of that. They will get some subsidies so that, they can sell the hydrogen at much cheaper price. But as I said, any transformation of technology take its own time. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, but definitely it's going to come, because you see, few years back, if you said renewable is going to form such a big percentage of our total installed capacity, we would have said no. How is it possible? So it's changed. It will take some time, but hydrogen won't come. We are not too much surplus, Suneel.
Yeah, I mean, okay. In terms of installed capacity, you are right. We may be a surplus, but if you see the world over, there's a time when some of the plant will be down for the maintenance. And there will be a time, as I said, the more we are dependent on the renewables like solar and the wind, you may have maybe 500 gigawatt of solar energy, but it's not readily available all the time. As I said, it is 500 gigawatt or it's 5 gigawatt. That's the difference. The more you build a renewable, you can't be totally dependent on that. So these technology will complement that. As he said, we are not going to compete against the renewables. We are there to complement them. When the wind and the solar energy is not there, you can think of these fuels to use. As I said, peaking maybe morning or the evening is the right time to use these kind of solutions. And that's what we were focusing on. We're not talking about 24/7 on the hydrogen or the future fuel.
And also, I keep saying, the new sort of IT side, also AI, data centers, everybody would need a lot of energy. What we are seeing in the US, or, there are few places where the AI centers or data centers, there's not enough power in the grid, although America, we always think, has enough power. But that's also going to come to India. And as we go by, there is a regulation by government that all the data has got to stay within the country. So where we were seeing 10 megawatt, 15 megawatt kind of data centers, now 100 megawatt is kind of the norm. And for those kind of a thing, if you want to be green, maybe it will be still affordable to go for hydrogen. It's one aspect of future.
If I'm going to, first thing we have to understand, we're not going to compete against the coal as a price. So what we are talking about is a cleaner fuel. So when you talk about the cleaner fuel, it will come with a price. So there's no true comparison between a coal-based power and a power coming from the renewable and the hydrogen. They will have a different pricing level. But as I said, going forward, when you have a hydrogen at $1, maybe 5 years, 6 years, or 7 years down the line, I don't know that. There are people working on that, and Reliance or people like Adani, they have made a statement. So there will be some thought process behind that. And I personally believe it's going to come down to $1.50, and you can, compare it with the LNG as a fuel, or you can compare it with the hydropower depending on the PLF and the investment. So I think going forward, it will be a viable solution, but the wait will be a long.